There comes a moment in every life when we must look inward with honesty and courage, not to judge ourselves harshly, but to recognize where disorder has quietly taken control. Many believe that freedom means living without structure, without rules, without discipline. But I have learned that the opposite is often true. A life without order slowly becomes a life without direction, and a life without direction can quietly steal our potential. Freedom is often misunderstood. Many believe it is the absence of rules, the ability to do as one pleases, to live without restraint. But true freedom is far deeper and far more demanding. It is not found in escaping responsibility, but in embracing it. The first freedom we must win is not from external forces, but from the chaos within ourselves. Until we learn to govern our own habits, our own time, and our own choices, we remain prisoners, even in the open air. Self-discipline is not an enemy of freedom, it is its foundation. When a person cannot control their actions, their impulses begin to control them. When time is not respected, it slips away silently, taking opportunities with it. Days become reactive instead of purposeful, and life begins to happen to us rather than being shaped by us. This is not freedom, this is quiet surrender. To organize your life is to make a declaration that your future matters more than your comfort, that your values are stronger than your excuses. It is the decision to wake each day with intention, even when motivation is absent. Discipline does not ask how you feel, it asks what must be done. And in answering that question daily, you begin to reclaim authority over your life. No great change is sudden. Order is built patiently, through small, consistent actions. Choosing when to rise, choosing how to spend your hours, choosing which habits will strengthen you and which must be left behind. These choices may seem ordinary, but they shape extraordinary outcomes. A disciplined life is not loud or dramatic, it is steady, deliberate, and deeply powerful. There will be resistance. The mind will seek comfort. The body will seek ease, and the world will offer endless distractions. But discipline teaches us to endure discomfort without losing direction. It trains us to act not because it is easy, but because it is necessary. In this endurance, we discover a strength that does not depend on circumstances. When your life is organized, your mind becomes calmer. Decisions become clearer. Purpose replaces confusion. You begin to move forward not in haste, but with confidence. You stop wasting energy on regret and start investing it in progress. This is the quiet dignity of a disciplined life. Self-discipline also teaches humility. It reminds us that growth requires effort, that progress demands patience, and that freedom must be earned daily. It is not a single victory, but a lifelong commitment. Each disciplined choice is a step away from chaos and a step towards self-mastery. Do not wait for perfect conditions. Begin where you are with what you have. Order your thoughts. Respect your time. Honor your responsibilities. In doing so, you will discover that freedom is not something granted by the world. It is something built within, and once earned, it becomes a strength no force can take from you. Dignity is not granted by titles, wealth, or applause. It is built quietly through the way we live when no one is watching. A disordered life slowly erodes this dignity. When our thoughts are scattered, our goals unclear, and our actions inconsistent, we begin to feel smaller than we truly are. Not because we lack ability, but because we have not given our lives the structure they deserve. To organize your life is an act of deep respect for yourself. It is the recognition that your time has value, that your energy is precious, and that your future is worth careful attention. Order does not mean perfection. It means clarity. It means knowing what matters and refusing to allow confusion to dominate your days. When order enters your life, dignity follows naturally, because you begin to live with intention rather than impulse. Many people believe dignity comes from recognition by others, but real dignity is internal. It is the quiet confidence that comes from keeping your word to yourself. It grows when you rise when you said you would, when you complete what you promised, when your actions align with your values. These small acts of discipline restore self-trust, and self-trust is the foundation of dignity. An organized life also strengthens the mind. When thoughts are arranged with purpose, fear loses its power. When goals are clear, doubt becomes manageable. When actions follow a plan, anxiety has less room to grow. Order calms the inner world, and a calm inner world allows a person to face outer challenges with composure and courage. Dignity is especially important in times of hardship. When circumstances are difficult, disorder multiplies suffering. But when a person maintains structure, routine, responsibility, and self-control, they preserve their sense of worth. They are not defined by chaos, but by character. Order becomes a form of resistance against despair. Organizing your life also prepares you to serve others. A person consumed by personal chaos has little strength left to give. But a disciplined, ordered individual becomes reliable, steady, and trustworthy. Their presence brings calm rather than confusion. Their actions create solutions rather than problems. Through order, personal growth becomes collective strength. This path is not easy. Order requires effort. It demands that you confront habits that weaken you and replace them with practices that build you. T asks you to say no to distractions and yes to responsibility. At times it will feel uncomfortable, but dignity is rarely born from comfort. It is forged through commitment. Begin simply. Organize your day. Clarify your priorities. Align your actions with your values. Each small act of order is a statement that your life matters. Over time, these acts transform not only how you live, but how you see yourself. When order guides your life, dignity becomes unshakable. You stand taller, speak with purpose, and act with strength. And in restoring dignity within yourself, you quietly prepare to uplift the world around you. Great character is not formed in moments of celebration or ease. It is shaped quietly, patiently, through what we choose to do each day when no one is watching. History remembers the victories, but character is built in the discipline of ordinary moments. In the way we rise in the morning, in the way we use our hours, in the way we honor small responsibilities that seem insignificant but are, in truth, foundational. Many people wait for a powerful moment to change their lives. They wait for inspiration, for confidence, for the perfect opportunity. But life does not reward waiting. It responds to consistency. Small daily structure may not feel heroic, yet it is the most reliable path to lasting strength. When you commit to simple routines, working at a set time, reflecting with honesty, completing what you begin to train your character to stand firm. Character grows when actions become habits, and habits are built through repetition. Each day you choose order over distraction, discipline over comfort, and purpose over impulse. You lay another stone in the foundation of who you are becoming. These stones may seem small, but together they support a life of resilience and integrity. There will be days when motivation is absent and progress feels slow. On such days, structure becomes your ally. It carries you forward when emotion cannot. It reminds you that discipline is not about intensity, but about faithfulness. To show up every day, even imperfectly, is to prove that your commitment is stronger than your mood. Small daily structure also teaches patience. It reminds us that meaningful change does not rush. Just as a tree grows quietly before it stands tall, character develops through steady effort long before its strength is visible. When you organize your life day by day, you learn to respect the process, not just the outcome. Comfort offers temporary relief, but structure builds lasting confidence. Each time you keep a promise to yourself, your self-respect grows. Each completed task, no matter how small, reinforces the belief that you can be trusted. This trust becomes courage, and courage becomes leadership, first over yourself and then in service to others. A person with strong character does not rely on chance. They rely on preparation. They understand that greatness is not an event, but a habit. Through structure, they reduce chaos and create space for clarity. Through routine, they transform intention into action. Do not underestimate the power of small beginnings. Organize your mornings, plan your work, reflect on your actions. These simple acts shape your identity more than grand declarations ever could. Over time, discipline becomes natural, and effort becomes character. Great lives are not built suddenly. They are built daily. Through consistency, order, and quiet determination, you become stronger than circumstances and steadier than doubt. And in that steady growth, character emerges, not loudly, but unbreakably. Opportunity is often spoken of as though it arrives by chance, as though it appears suddenly and changes a life overnight. But in truth, opportunity is rarely given before responsibility is proven. Life does not place great weight on unprepared shoulders. It first asks a quiet question: can you manage what is already in your hands? Only when that question is answered through action does life respond with greater trust. Responsibility begins with the small and the ordinary. It is found in how you manage your time, how you honor your commitments, and how you care for the tasks that may seem unimportant to others. Many people look toward the future with hope, asking for bigger roles, greater success, and wider influence. Yet they neglect the discipline required in the present. They wish for opportunity without first building reliability. But opportunity does not respond to words. It responds to proof. To organize your life is to accept responsibility fully. It is to recognize that your days are not something to be endured, but something to be shaped. When you plan your time, follow through on your duties, and take ownership of your choices, you send a powerful signal to yourself and to the world that you are ready for more. Responsibility is the training ground where potential becomes capability. Life observes quietly. It sees who can be trusted with consistency, who remains steady when no one is watching, who finishes what they begin. Before greater doors open, smaller doors must be respected. Before leadership is granted, self-leadership must be demonstrated. This is not punishment or delay, it is preparation. Many opportunities are lost not because of a lack of talent, but because of a lack of discipline. Talent without responsibility creates disorder. Ambition without structure leads to frustration. But when responsibility guides ambition, progress becomes inevitable. You begin to grow into the person who can sustain success, not just reach it. Responsibility also teaches humility. It reminds us that we are accountable for our actions and their consequences. This humility strengthens character and sharpens judgment. A responsible person does not blame circumstances endlessly. They ask what can be improved, what can be learned, and what must be done next. This mindset transforms challenges into lessons and setbacks into preparation. When you prove yourself capable of managing your present, life expands your future. When you respect small obligations, greater trust follows. This is how opportunity works, not as a reward for desire, but as a response to readiness. The path forward is not found in waiting, but in doing. Begin with what is within your control. Organize your responsibilities. Be faithful to your commitments. Treat your time as something valuable. Through these acts, you are not only improving your life, you are preparing yourself for what has yet to come. Opportunity does not arrive first. Responsibility does. And when responsibility is carried with integrity, opportunity follows, not as a favor, but as a natural next step. Chaos does not always arrive with noise or destruction. More often, it enters quietly, through neglected routines, unclear priorities, and days lived without intention. It grows in the absence of order and feeds on uncertainty. In a world that is constantly shifting, demanding, and distracting, chaos seeks to pull us in many directions at once, leaving us exhausted but unfulfilled. Against this force, there is a powerful yet quiet weapon available to every individual: an organized life. Discipline and order are not acts of control over others. They are acts of resistance within ourselves. When the world feels unstable, when circumstances are beyond our control, organization gives us a firm ground on which to stand. It allows us to decide how we respond, even when we can. OT, decide what happens. This is not weakness. This is strength practiced with humility. An organized life does not eliminate hardship, but it prevents hardship from ruling us. When your days have structure, confusion loses its grip. When your goals are clear, fear becomes less persuasive. Order brings clarity, and clarity brings courage. You begin to act deliberately instead of reacting endlessly. In this way, discipline becomes a shield, protecting your purpose from the noise of the world. Chaos thrives where responsibility is avoided. Order grows where responsibility is accepted. Each time you plan your day, honor your commitments, and take ownership of your actions, you push back against disorder. These actions may seem small, but they are deeply transformative. They turn uncertainty into direction and anxiety into focus. There will always be forces that seek to distract you. Endless information, constant comparison, and immediate gratification. These forces do not ask for your permission. They simply demand your attention. Without order, attention is easily stolen. But with discipline, attention becomes a choice. You decide what deserves your time and what does not. This choice is power. An organized life also preserves inner peace. When your responsibilities are clear and your actions aligned, the mind becomes calmer. You sleep with less regret and wake with greater resolve. Peace is not found in avoiding difficulty, but in meeting it with preparedness. Order prepares you to endure. This discipline is not rigid or harsh. It is thoughtful and humane. It allows space for rest, reflection, and growth. It is not about perfection, but about consistency. Even when circumstances change, your commitment to order remains steady. This steadiness becomes your lasting power. History shows that resilience is built quietly long before it is tested openly. Those who cultivate order within themselves are not easily shaken by external storms. They carry stability wherever they go. Their lives become examples, not through words, but through conduct. In choosing to organize your life, you are not retreating from the world. You are equipping yourself to face it with dignity. Order is your resistance against chaos, your discipline is your defense, and your consistency is your strength. Through them, you remain grounded, purposeful, and free. Even in uncertain times,